Good evening. The Wayzata Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting for Monday, December 9th, 2019 will please come to order, and will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Eric Brown,
Here.
Linda Cohen,
Here.
Andrea Keene,
Here.
Anita Lucky,
Here.
Cheryl Polzine,
Here.
Chris McCullough here, Sarah Johansson,
Here.
and Chase Anderson.
Here.
All right, we're all here and accounted for, and the room is packed. I love it. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. The first item on our agenda this evening is the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda items. And before I read a bit of what I need to tell you, I just wanted to make a couple notes about the agenda. The first is that we will be moving the audience opportunity to address the board up to after the recognitions. And so I will announce that, and if someone comes later, we can certainly do it again at the end. But we will be moving that audience opportunity to address the board up. And second of all, tonight, in addition to our regular meeting, we also have a truth and taxation hearing. If you are here to address the board as part of the truth and taxation hearing, if you could please raise your hand, and Mr. Westrom, our Executive Director of Business and Finance, will come on over and greet you, as that portion of the meeting will be at the end. So, truth and taxation and audience opportunity, just a heads up. Okay, and now we'll get to the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda. The consent agenda items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and addressed. The consent agenda items are listed in the board packet, and the recommended action is to approve the agenda and the consent agenda items. Is there a motion to that effect?
So move.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. There's no discussion for consent agenda items, and it's a roll call vote.
Eric Brown,
Yes.
Linda Cohen,
Yes.
Andrea Keene,
Yes.
Anita Lucky,
Yes.
Chris McCullough, yes, Cheryl Polzine,
Yes.
and Chair Johansson.
Yes.
Okay, it passes.
All right, thanks so much, and we have an agenda. And the first official item on our agenda are reports from organizations, and I know I saw that Matt was here. Come on up and tell us what's happening at the high school.
All right. Hello, my name is Matt Lawrence, and I'm the Senior Vice President. So I'll just be recapping some events as well as highlighting some upcoming events. So just for some general school news, we are currently in the middle of our second term, and things are going smoothly. This week is Wellness Week, a week dedicated to bringing awareness to mental health. This is put on by our Club Heart. Now for some activity news. The Student Council Winter Fundraiser Adopt a Family just wrapped up last weekend. I co-chaired the event, and I'm proud to say that we raised far more than our goal of $3,000, with a total of over $7,500 going to IOCP to help families in need. A lot of the school got behind this fundraiser and really helped donate. It was a very successful event overall. Club Unified also had a very successful fundraiser. Club Us, along with other unified clubs from around the state, attended an event at the Mall of America for Special Olympics. Wayzata's Unified Club, along with other schools, ended up raising over $9,000 for Special Olympics. Amazing work to everyone involved there. Wayzata's National Honor Society held Wayzata Idol on the 25th. Some of the most talented singers showcased their skills on stage. Congratulations to winner Izzy Mayaka for her outstanding performance. NHS also held a food drive at the end of November. It was another successful event. Now for some fine arts news. There is a choir and orchestra concert being held at the high school right now. Next Monday, there will also be a band concert held at the high school as well. Now for some sports news. Congratulations to the football team for becoming the 2019 Class 6A champions. The team's hard work paid off with an undefeated season. It looks like you guys will get officially recognized later, so I'll just leave it at that. And I also talked about the volleyball team last meeting, but again, congratulations for your state victory as well. So now moving on to our winter sports. Here's the latest updates. The boys hockey team beat St. Louis Park 5-1 on Saturday. Also on Saturday, girls hockey lost to Hill Murray. Girls basketball beat Prior Lake 86-44. Boys basketball lost to Shakopee 82-63. Dance team placed first in kick. Wrestling lost to Scott West 43-25. And finally, gymnastics beat STMA in their meet. That is all I have for school news. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Matt. Stay up there for just a second in case anyone has any questions or comments. No, thanks so much. Okay, and the next item on our agenda may be familiar with some. It'll be recognitions, and I'll join Dr. Anderson at the podium.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. It's a great night to have the room filled. I think our ratings are going to go way up tonight on television for the number of people that are here and probably the number of people that are tuned in and watching. So we welcome all of you. We congratulate our football team and our volleyball team who are here this evening to be recognized for state championships. It's always my honor at our school board meetings to convene the recognitions portion of the meeting, and we always start off with any staff members who have announced their retirement since our last regular school board meeting, and we have two of those individuals. If they are here, I would ask them to come forward. Oftentimes, and typically they're not, they're probably tuned in on television to watch me announce their names tonight. But those two individuals are Tom Rail, custodian at West Middle School for 17 years in the district, and Carol Tellis, paraprofessional, Kimberly Lane, 21 years. Is Carol here? I don't see anybody working their way toward the front of the room, but I would like to ask you to please join me in a round of applause for these two individuals. Greatly appreciate all of the contributions that they have made, along with all of our staff who will announce or have announced their retirement. The next recognition actually is listed on the agenda for the football recognition, but since the volleyball team is perfectly positioned here for their recognition, I'm actually going to start out with them, and then we'll do a little bit of a switcheroo as best as we can and do football following them. But I would also like to invite the coach, Scott Jackson, and any other coaches for our volleyball. Well, there's Scott there. Any other coaches that might be here to congratulate our girls on their wonderful first ever, I believe, state championship in volleyball after, I think what I heard, 48 years of playing volleyball within the school district. Does that sound right?
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So my facts are aligned with the stars here tonight, and we're in the presence of all of the stars. I just have to say that I went to a number of matches this year, including the state tournament, and it was just incredible to watch the talent and the skill that you demonstrate out on the court. And oftentimes when I saw a shot coming over that they were expected to somehow field, I thought, oh, there's no way anyone will get that. And then magically they make a dive and the ball goes flying up and two more shots and it's back over the net. So your athleticism is incredible. And I compliment you and congratulate you. And we'll start off with a round of applause before I hand it over to Coach. And at this time, I give you our state champion head volleyball coach, Scott Jackson. Scott, congratulations.
Appreciate it. I'm just really proud of the girls, and before I get into them, guys, congratulations. I loved watching it. It was so fun. Really proud of you guys. And I asked them if they would just introduce themselves. I don't think you need to come up here. Just use your voice here and just introduce yourselves real quick. So.
I'm Ella, I'm a sophomore, and I enjoy district cheerleading. I'm Elizabeth Tomek, I'm a senior, and I am part of FCA, which is the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I'm the coach editor for the year. I'm Molly Sutherland, I'm a sophomore, and I enjoy the art program at Wayzata. I'm Michaela Leader, I'm a sophomore, and I also enjoy district. I'm Gabby Kolander, I'm a senior, and I enjoy being food. I'm Sophie Douglas, I'm a junior, and I also enjoy the sports program. I'm Jaden Morrison, I'm a sophomore, and I enjoy hugging the fun. I'm Olivia Johnson, I'm a senior, and I really enjoyed all the relationships I've made throughout my years. I'm Sierra Moore, and I'm a sophomore, and I enjoy the drawing program. I'm Lily Eblong, I'm a senior. I really enjoy how Wayzata offers so many different class options that help you figure out what you're interested in. I'm Caitlin MP, and this is Jenna Jackson, Scott's daughter. And I'm senior this year, and I really enjoy all the opportunities that go into Wayzata. I'm Emma, I'm
Yeah. So, and I just wanted them to share how well-rounded they are, and with that, so I thought that was a cool way to do it tonight. Congratulations, girls. I'm so proud to be associated with you guys. And it was literally a month ago, moments ago, that we won our state championship. So it's kind of a nice moment for us to experience. It was literally November 9th at 7:05 is when my text started pouring in from friends. So we're just 7 minutes past, so that's pretty cool that we get to enjoy it in this moment. So thanks for this opportunity to be recognized, and we're really proud to represent the school and the community as we did. So thank you. Stand on the ledge here, back row.
Turn the other way. There's a camera.
I see your smile. She's my neighbor.
Congratulations.
Again, congratulations, girls, and Scott and your other coaches for a great season. Thanks for all the great entertainment for not only the staff, but the entire community. It was just an incredible season for you. Our next recognition this evening is, as I'd indicated before, our state champion, undefeated football team, who are here with not all of the team members, but a large number of them. And I want to congratulate all of the players that are here tonight and the coaches. And in a moment, I'll introduce Coach Brown, and he'll determine how the players will be introduced or who will be doing the speaking on their behalf tonight, perhaps. But we just want to, again, congratulate you. It was a fantastic season. To get into the playoffs is one big accomplishment. To win the championship was another big accomplishment. But to be undefeated in the process of doing that is just really quite incredible, and an accomplishment and a feat that not too many enjoy during any athletic season. But I shared this story when I spoke to the kids here a while back, that in August I ran into one of the players who I remember very clearly, but I won't embarrass him here tonight. But he came up to me when I ran into him out in the parking lot and said, "Dr. Anderson, we're going to give you a real special football team this year." And I thought, yeah, well, that's how you should feel back before the season starts. I had no idea that it would turn out quite like this. So there was some type of a vision and a perspective and a picture out there of what was out in their future. But anyway, thanks for bringing that to fruition this year. Congratulations on your multiple accomplishments. It was a great season with a lot of great entertainment, much as with our volleyball team and all of our other fall sports. Great entertainment and great pleasure for our entire community to watch you play and set all those or achieve all of those incredible goals that you'd established. So I would also like to acknowledge Coach Brown before I introduce him as the state's football coach of the year by both WCCO and Kerry Levin. Those are at least the two I've heard of. There's probably more. He'll be way too humble to even acknowledge them. What'd you say? On the Vikings too. That's true. Yeah, I missed that one. But we're just incredibly proud of Coach Brown and all of the coaches really for the work that they did with the kids this year. It was an incredible style of coaching to work with all of our young athletes and to have such an incredible result. So without further ado, I give you our state champion football coach, Lambert Brown. Congratulations.
You guys are going to introduce yourselves in a minute, but before we get into that, Just a couple quick things. We had our banquet last night, so everything's kind of been fast and furious since the season's ended. And a couple things that I wanted to make sure that we talked to them about the accomplishments that I think were noteworthy or things we want to talk about as we set out for the year. Obviously the undefeated season was phenomenal in the way that they responded to adversity and all the good things. And probably the biggest adversity was dealing with, for a large portion of your being the number one team in state and having, and something that we haven't had to deal with for a while. And they handled that gracefully and didn't let anything go to their heads, but took some confidence from that and went out and played well. The other things, our district championship, which is a really big deal, section championship to get us in the state, obviously state champions. And then also one of the 3 6A teams in the state that received an academic gold for a team GPA of 3.3 or higher, which is a testament to that, not only the students that they are, but the athletes they are. So it's been a great year. So in terms of the academic piece and the people that they are, that's really what makes me extremely proud when we walk the halls and teachers talk about the great job that these guys do in class, and they can't really get away. They've got Wayzata football gear on. It's football season. If they mess up, I'm going to find out really, really quick. We really didn't have any of that this year. We had a bunch of great kids who bonded together, worked hard, loved each other, and did a lot for each other, and really realized that they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And for that, I applaud you guys. So great job this year, gentlemen. Before we go any, I also want to thank and congratulate the volleyball team. I got to sit on my couch with my kids around me, and we're watching on my computer and watching the state championship game, and and kind of rooting for you guys and cheering for you guys. And my daughter's like, "Do you know her? And do you know her?" I'm like, "I do. I get to see them. I go to the same school I work at." And they thought that was probably the coolest thing ever. And and it's the inspiration and that it gave for me watching it and seeing Coach Jackson, put his hands up and how excited. And then my daughter looks over and says, "You're going to be the next one to do that." And so I want to thank you guys for paving the way and leading to a great fall. So thank you guys very much and congratulations. Now you guys are going to introduce yourselves, name, age, grade, and position, and then we'll keep going because there's a bunch of you.
My name is Joe Demerel. I'm a senior and I play defensive line.
One of our captains, you say that.
Captain, senior captain.
I'm Tom Schmidt. I'm a senior. I was a quarterback.
Joe Shostakowski, senior captain at center.
Matt Schmidt, senior, inside linebacker.
Julian Diedrich, sophomore, wide receiver for the team. Adam Lemire, junior, and outside linebacker.
I'm Steve Magnuson. I'm a junior.
Mitch Mason, senior, defensive line.
Zach Thompson, senior, tight end. Cole Brown, junior, inside linebacker. Tyler Davidson, junior, right tackle. Joe Salonis, senior, offensive line. Cole Elmer, sophomore.
Very good, sophomore.
Junior, outside linebacker.
Miles Jackson, I'm a senior. Nose guard and running back.
Jackson, offensive line. Parker Wolf, junior, safety.
Andy Sandell, junior, safety.
Josh Newton, sophomore, outside linebacker.
Gabe Colwell, sophomore, wide receiver.
Christian Mason Ryan, junior, wide receiver.
Jack Lassie, junior, safety.
Nick Kirchner, junior, wide receiver.
Matt Rose, senior, inside linebacker.
Austin Matthew, junior.
Shaka Rose, senior, captain.
Christian Vassar, senior captain.
Andrew Logan, senior, free safety.
Eddie Bendigo, junior. Jersey Williams,
Say your name, coaches. They want to know who you are.
Coach Barreri, quarterback coach.
Coach Murray, Coach Lisa, linebackers. Coach Thompson, quarterback coach.
Coach Tedeschi, senior.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
They have quite a few seats.
Yes, yes. That's your plan.
There were a couple guys in East.
Big chest. There's Sarah. There she is. Good. That's so fun. Get close. You were so good. I didn't know him at all. I've never seen him without his helmet on. I know. It's fun to see him. Look at that. That's Kristen's son. I know. Their neighbors. Well, they are. See, from now on. He brought nicely done.
Congrats.
Thanks for coming. Congrats.
Patience.
Still have our employee of the month.
Would have been a good night to wear my elevator shoes around that group. Left them at home. We have, congratulations again, all of our student athletes that are here tonight. We have one final recognition tonight, and it's for our Employee of the Month. And I would like to invite Jenny Daniels to please come forward. Jenny, congratulations. The script. I'd like to read the following script, which was submitted on Jenny's behalf. Gleason Lake Elementary is proud to recommend Jenny Daniels as the December Employee of the Month. Jenny has been with the district for the past 8 years as a special education paraprofessional and also works in our after-school home-based program. She brings compassion, dedication, and expertise to her positions. Jenny has the innate ability to empower students. She continually sets high expectations and carefully provides guidance and support to ensure students are seamlessly integrated into daily learning experiences. She takes the necessary time to get to know students and is able to build and maintain strong relationships. She uses positive and proactive practices, encouraging and challenging students with her calm and caring nature. She helps create and foster a learning environment and community in which students feel engaged, connected, and supported. Teachers love having Jenny in their classrooms because she is a natural leader with excellent problem-solving strategies. She approaches all situations with confidence and determination that she is making a difference in the lives of our children. The entire Gleason Lake community benefits from her team player approach, charismatic personality, and infectious smile as she provides a sense of optimism in everything that she does. Jenny is very deserving of this recognition, and we congratulate her as the Wayzata December Employee of the Month. Jenny, congratulations.
Thank you so much for those kind words. I am truly thankful and so grateful for this recognition. All right, public speaking time. First of all, I'd like to thank the board and the administration for this opportunity for all you do for the district. Thank you to Mary Mackesy for always supporting us so that we can meet the needs of all of our children at Gleason Lake. Thank you to the entire special ed team. I feel so blessed to work with such a committed, caring group of people so closely every day. I would also like to thank all of the students I work with, whom I've learned so much from over the years. Patience, kindness, creativity, and so much more. Did I mention patience? And finally, a huge thank you to each and every staff member at Gleason Lake. It amazes me every day to see how dedicated everyone is to making it the best learning environment possible for each and every student. I feel so lucky and proud to work, to live, and to raise my daughter, hi Edie, in this wonderful district. Thank you all so much, and go Trojans.
Okay, and now we will move the audience opportunity to address the board portion of the meeting up. Again, if you're speaking regarding truth and taxation, that will come later as part of the truth and taxation hearing. But I do know that Joel and Naya Spoonheim, and I think some of their friends, have come to talk to us about healthy habits and healthy foods. So thank you all for coming. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming out on a cold school night.
Alrighty. Okay. Hi again. My name is Rochelle Dotzenrod, and I'm here representing the Healthy Foods and Healthy Habits group for Wayzata schools. For the past 2 years, members of our group have been meeting with you and advocating on behalf of our children. I think, as you guys know, we meet regularly, and during these meetings, our children come along a lot of the times. And during our last meeting, one of the children raised their hand and said, well, you guys are doing a lot of the meeting, a lot of the talking. Can we talk to them too? To which a couple other kids then said, well, if they're going to do it, we want to do it as well. So we are inviting them. We have we thought we had 6. Is there 6? 5. We lost 1. We might get one back. 5 very courageous students that want to talk to you tonight. So thank you in advance for this opportunity for them. The first student you're going to hear from is Naya.
Hello, my name is Naya, and I am a 4th grader at Sunset Hill Elementary School. If I could change one thing, it would be to take out the bad ingredients from the foods. Some of the common unhealthy ingredients are high fructose corn syrup, and sugar. There is a rumor that the middle school has a salad bar. Me and my friends are big salad fans and want a salad bar. It would be a healthy option for all kids. Also, I would like to compliment the school board and Culinary Foods for Around the World Wednesday. I found my favorite food, the chana masala, at one of the days that we had Around the World Wednesdays. It is so good, and all the foods from Around the World Wednesdays are so good. And I would like to say thank you for letting me speak today.
Thanks, Naya.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I'm a 2nd grader at Kimberly Lane Elementary. One thing I would like to change about school lunch is to have more time to eat so there is less waste. My favorite food this year is curly spaghetti with Alfredo sauce. I would like to invite Miss Paulzine to have lunch with me.
Well, thank you.
Hi, my name is Mila Geffro, and I am a 4th grader at Sunset Hill Elementary School. And if I could change one thing about our school lunch is that I would want to have less processed food, lots of fresh fruit, and also some more vegetarian options. I would like to compliment the school board on the fact that they've been bringing in some fun new foods from other cultures that are very amazing to try. My favorite so far is the chana masala. I will also be inviting Miss Benita Lucky to have lunch with me, and I look forward to meeting with her. Thank you for letting me speak.
My name is Stella. I am in 4th grade at Sunset Hill. If I could change one thing about lunch, I would prefer to not have lunch in my snow gear. I bring home lunch every day, but I would like for the school lunches to be healthier and fresher so that I could eat school lunch sometimes. Thank you.
My name is Maya Anderson, and I go to Greenwood Elementary, and I'm in 5th grade. I have two things that I would like to improve at our school. One is I wish that we had healthier options for the gluten-free menu and the regular lunch menu. With the gluten-free menu, there is a lot of bread stuff, such as like chicken fingers and a lot of meatball subs with buns. There's a lot of stuff with buns. And my second problem that I would like to help improve is whenever we come in from recess, we have to wear snow pants, and that's kind of annoying because when we get back to class, we have to take them off. So I hope that we can have like 5 minutes to take off our snow pants and then come back to the lunchroom and have a good lunch, and that will help class time. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm Joel Spoonheim, proud dad of Naya. And right now, I'd just like to thank all of them. And also, we have invitations, or they have invitations for each and every one of you for lunch. And I'd like to ask that they hand those out if that's okay. So why don't you guys go pass out your invitations. They each picked one of you to have lunch with. And we'll figure it out when it works schedule-wise. But
Thank you.
And Brian, I think we knew you were transitioning off. Did we miss anybody? Okay.
I think so.
Oh, we'll figure it out. Okay. So, as you heard, there's already been some great changes this year, and we want to thank you for the hiring of the new food service director. Michelle Sagadal has been incredibly collaborative, and as you can hear already from kids, the food's made a difference in less than 2 months. That's a huge accomplishment, and I think it bodes well for how quickly change can occur when there's commitment. And so we appreciate the ongoing conversation we've had individually with some of you, and then as a group with some of our communications. I think the challenge that we're still struggling with is it's not clear always who's in charge. Like when we know it's Mr. Westrom, like we've had great conversations with him, and as a result of that, he's acknowledged from our research and findings that there were opportunities to improve the financial management structures and tracking of expenditures within the district so that we can all see more clearly what's happening, which makes it easier to identify opportunities for improvement. We want to thank you for already implementing those changes. But we really are still looking for crystal clear clarity of who's in charge of each of the different elements that we brought forward, because it's hard to engage. I mean, it's hard to know who to ask and who to talk with. Mr. Superintendent, I know that you responded back and we appreciate it, and we know that you're working on looking at different recommendations. What we'd ask is in the near term, you're going to be appointing some senior staff member to lead each of these initiatives before committees are revised or commissions are set up. We'd just like to know who that is so that we don't spend another 3-4 months waiting for those processes to occur and still continue to wait to make progress in obvious areas like the ones that have already occurred yet this year, which is great. We also just want to acknowledge that the group of parents, many of whom are here, have worked hundreds and hundreds of hours bringing their professional expertise to bear, doing this work. And if I was doing this in my full-time job, this would be worth tens of thousands of dollars of consulting that we're doing on behalf of our shared goal with you of improving the outcomes for our kids from a learning perspective. And so we really do hope to have the district have a clear, transparent structure for engagement, both with the board and with administration on how to move these various issues through review and process. So that's our fundamental request, is just greater clarity on how to engage in a timely way so we can accelerate results for our kids. And with that, I want to thank again the kids for coming and for all their creative artwork, which you saw in your invitations. Thank you. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, each of you, students, Naya and Isabel and Mila and Stella and Maya, sorry. Who did I miss?
think you got it. Mila.
Mila, I have Mila. Yes, Mila. I'm sorry, I heard it wrong. Thank you, each of you, for coming. Thank you for these beautiful invitations for lunch. And we know that you've got to get back to do some schoolwork and probably get to sleep. So thanks, and we appreciate hearing from you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Good evening, Mr. Westrom, and thanks for coming to talk to us about business and finance.
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, members of the community. This evening we have 4 items related to financial matters of the district. The first is the monthly financial reports, and enclosed in the school board's packet for your review and information are the following financial reports as of October 2019. We have an investment summary report, an analysis of the financial reports, a statement of revenues, and a statement of expenditures. And just a reminder that the Finance Committee of the school board meets prior to this meeting, and we went through some of the financial matters that were presented for the board for approval this evening, as well as the operating results through October. And I'm pleased to report that nothing unusual has been noted. So I would be happy to respond to any questions if any other board members have questions, or we could continue on to our year-end financial audit.
Okay, any questions, board members? Thank you to the finance team for gathering on a snowy morning.
Great, yes. Okay, our next item is our annual financial report, and we do have a guest this evening. You probably recall that at our last work session, our independent auditors from MMKR presented to the school board, and the entire school board got to go into a lot of detail on our financial reports. So I'm just going to share the following, that the annual audit has been completed, and the following reports will be highlighted this evening. The comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2019. A management report is available for you as well. An extracurricular student activity accounts financial report. This will be the last time that you see this. And then finally, a special purpose audits report, the single audit, the internal controls, and compliance with laws and regulations. And this evening, our guest is Jackie Hewler? That's right, I'm sorry. I can't find your name in my little book here. So, but anyway, Jackie will be doing the presentation at this point, and you'll have a PowerPoint before you. So with that, thank you. Sorry about that. I've known you for years, so I'll introduce you and let you take it from here.
Great. Well, good evening. As Jim said, I'm here to present the audit results for the year ended June 30th, 2019. We were able at the school board work session to go through this in detail, so tonight's going to be more of a summarized, high-level report of the results of the audit. So starting into it, our role as auditors is to issue an opinion on the basic financial statements of the district audit. Since the district does receive more than $750,000 in federal awards, we complete a separate single audit over the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. And then since the district does have the extracurricular student activity accounts that are not under board control, we issue a separate report and opinion over those accounts as well. So as part of our audit, we test the internal controls and the compliance over the financial statement audit with the federal single audit, with Minnesota state laws and regulations, and also with the manual for activity fund accounting. And for the audit results over the financial statement audit, we issued an unmodified opinion or a clean opinion on the basic financial statements. That's the top opinion you can receive. For the report on the internal control and compliance over the financial statement audit, I have no internal control findings to report and no compliance findings to report. And as well for the Minnesota legal compliance audit, no compliance findings to report there either. For the audit results over the federal single audit, noted that the schedule of expenditures of federal awards is fairly stated in relation to the basic financial statements, and had no internal control findings to report and no compliance findings to report in that single audit area. So overall, a very good audit, no findings to report throughout the district financial audit. This next slide summarizes the audit results of the student activity audit. So that's that separate set of accounts that are not under board control. As part of that, we issue an opinion on the reported cash balances and the receipts and disbursements, noting that they're fairly presented. As you've seen in previous audits, we do report an internal control comment here. Since these are reported on the cash basis of accounting, we're only given an opinion that they're fairly stated for the, we're only reporting on the recorded cash receipts throughout the year. There's no way to assure that all the receipts are in there. And for the compliance audit, we do have the 5 comments to report there. The first one was with the improper accounts and activity. The second relates with the activity purpose forms were not completed for each student activity account. During the current year, there was some untimely deposits. The fourth item we had was disbursements did not have all the proper approvals. It does require approvals of the student representative, the advisor, and the building principal. And then lastly, there were some inactive accounts. And one item I would like to report here with the student activities, there is a new GASB standard that is implemented in 2020. So as part of your future audits, you are going to be seeing all these student activity accounts being reported as part of the general fund. So just an item of a note that will be changing going forward. Now going into some of the results of the district, the financial results. This first slide shows the general fund financial position, summarizes the cash and investment balance, the unrestricted fund balance, and the expenditures over the past 5 years. For the current year ended June 30, 2019, the general fund cash and investment balance was about $43.3 million. It's an increase of about $3.2 million from the prior year. And the general fund, the total fund balance in this fund was about $25.9 million at year end. That saw an increase of about $5.9 million from the prior year. This next slide summarizes the components of the general fund balance for the previous 5 years. For the June 30th, 2019 year, the total fund balance was at $25.9 million. You can see about $316,000 is tied up in non-spendable fund balance, which is prepaid and inventory items. The restricted fund balance at year end was about $7.6 million. The majority of this is restricted for the capital projects levy of about $2.1 million, the operating capital dollars of about $3.6 million, and then the long-term facility maintenance levy, there was about $920,000 restricted in that area. Kind of comparing to prior year, you can see the restricted fund balances increased. That's mainly in that long-term facility maintenance area, and all just due to a timing of the projects from year to year. At year end, there was about $5.3 million in assigned fund balance, and that's assigned for various items. The main ones, the post-employment obligations, for site carryover at various buildings, for subsequent year budget costs, and for school opening costs. And that leaves an unassigned fund balance at year end of about $12.7 million, which was about 8.1% of the expenditures in the general fund. This next slide shows the adjusted ADM and the pupil units served by the district for the past 10 years. For fiscal year 2019, the district served an estimated ADM of 11,906. It's an increase of about 266 ADM from the prior year. And then the resulting pupil units served by the district increased by 264 to the 12,980. Next couple of slides shows the general fund revenue, and then the next one will show the general fund expenditures, showing the current year actual, current year budget, and comparing to prior year. The total general fund revenues were about $164.6 million, about $860,000 less than projected in the budget. The variance to budget was mainly in federal sources and state sources. General fund revenues increased about $8.5 million from the prior year. The majority was in state sources due to the increased enrollment and the increase in the general education formula allowance, and also in property taxes, which was due to the increased levy in fiscal 2019. Total general fund expenditures were about $157.2 million. It's about $7.6 million under the final budget. The budget variances were in the capital spending and also in purchase services. Capital expenditures were about $5.6 million under budget just due to the timing of the construction projects. And purchase services were about $2.1 million under budget, and that was due to timing of technology needs as well as in professional development. The total general fund expenditures increased about $7.8 million from the prior year. It was mainly in the salary and benefit area due to the contractual increases and as well as additional staffing in the current year. And then that was offset by a decrease in capital expenditures, once again, just due to the timing of the projects from year to year. This next slide summarizes some of the other operating funds of the district, specifically the Food Service Special Revenue Fund as well as the Community Service Special Revenue Fund. The Food Service Fund had a fund balance decrease of about $230,000. It's compared to a budgeted decrease of about $198,000. And at year end, this fund had a fund balance of about $585,000, which represents about 8.6% of the current year expenditures of this fund. The Community Service Fund had a fund balance decrease of about $134,000, and that's compared to a budgeted decrease of about $256,000. And overall, the year-end fund balance ended the year at about $1.9 million, which is about 17.8% of the expenditures of the fund. This next slide summarizes the internal service funds of the district. The district does have 2 internal service funds that account for activity related to the district's medical and dental self-insurance accounts and the early retirement accounts. The self-insurance accounts ended the year with a year-end net position of $1.6 million, which is all restricted for future medical and dental benefits. And then the early retirement accounts had a year-end deficit net position of about $1.2 million, and that's an improvement about $2.1 million from the prior year. And if you're looking at that table, you're seeing a special item in that column for the early retirement account. And that special item is mainly due to the decrease in the liabilities related to the elimination of certain benefits through the contract negotiations during the year. And the last slide I have here is a summary of the district-wide statement of net position. So this slide summarizes the full accrual statement of the district, so it includes all the capital asset activity and all the long-term liabilities of the district. The top part of it starts kind of with your governmental fund balances, and it walks through any adjustments to get to a net position, all the bonds and the pensions. And then the bottom portion shows the net position by component. So overall, the total net position increased about $34.8 million from the prior year. If you're looking at the table, it's mainly in that unrestricted area, as well as if you're looking at the top, it's all in that pension area. And that's just all due to the changes in the district's proportionate share of those PERA and TRA liabilities from one year to the next. But overall, this slide looks very similar to every other district, just the changes in those liabilities from year to year. So with that, I can open up to any questions if anyone has anything.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us, and thank you as well for joining us for the work session in which there were a number of questions. Board colleagues, questions or comments? No. Okay, I would like to thank MMKR as well as Mr. Westrom and the business and finance team, Melissa Lahr, Jill Schwint, and everyone from the district for pulling this all together. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jackie. And so the recommended action is before you, and you can see the assignment of certain fund balances is required by board action and ratified on an annual basis. So I won't go through that because it's before you, but the recommended action to accept this is before you.
All right. Board members, the recommended action is to approve the reports for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019, and further to ratify the assigned fund balance in the amount of $5,369,294 as of June 30th, 2019, to be used for the specific purposes noted above in the board packet. Is there a motion to that effect?
I so move.
Second. Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor of approving the recommended action, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Abstention. Motion carries. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And once again, I'd like to thank Jackie Hugel for attending this evening and actually for the detailed explanation and work she did with the entire board 2 weeks ago at our work session. So thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.
So the next item is our Truth in Taxation presentation. Is anybody here specifically for this? If they are, could they raise their hand? Okay. So the Truth in Taxation presentation is an important part of the budgeting process for a school district. The school district receives a portion of its funds through local property tax, although I think a lot of people believe that the property tax provides the majority of the funding for the school district. That is not the case. The majority of revenue for the school district comes in the form of state aid through formulas based on our student enrollment. And so I did want to just go through this slide, even though for the benefit of our viewing audience. Every year, all taxing authorities have a truth in taxation hearing, and we actually can make this as a part of our regular school board meeting. So this evening, for about 10 minutes, we'll be going through a number of items related to our local property tax. One thing that's a little bit different about a school district compared to other organizations such as cities and counties is that we operate on a fiscal year that goes from July through June. So we've already approved our budget for the current year that we're in. So we will be speaking simply about a budget that we implemented back last June and is actually serving the students and community from July through next June. So with that, I'll actually share some of that information. So our 2019-2020 budget actually was approved by the board in June, and it became active in July. Our general fund budget works out to be about $172 million in revenues and expenditures. And then you can see our food service budget is just under $7 million. Our community service fund is about $12 million. Our construction fund is about $8 million in revenue. However, we're spending about $30 million in expenditures because we're still expending the dollars that were approved by voters in 2017. You probably recall that voters approved about $70 million worth of construction projects. And as a matter of fact, we just opened up Northwoods this fall as a portion of that $70 million approval. And then our debt service fund basically is a revenue and expenditure to service the principal and interest payments on voter approved items. So overall, our revenue is about $211 million, and then our expenditures would normally be about the same. However, we're still doing about $30 million worth of construction projects. And once again, the budget is available on our website and was approved by the board and vetted and deep discussions occurred prior to July 1st. So once again, I kind of mentioned a little bit about our revenue sources. If you look at this, you can see that state aid represents the majority of the revenue, and then the property tax levy is a small portion. The property tax levy is actually largely calculated by formulas, either based on enrollment, based on voter approval, or based upon expenditure reimbursements according to statutes. So school boards really have very little control over setting this local property tax levy. However, it's important to note that the school board is very, very cognizant of the items that they do have control over to make sure that we're being prudent with taxpayer dollars. As far as our expenditures, I guess it would be no surprise after hearing what Jackie just shared and hearing more about our finances that salary and benefits would make up the largest proportion of our budget. So you can see in our general fund, salary and benefits work out to be about 75% of our budget. And then the next largest portion is the purchase services. And that would include transportation, and that would include other items that the district actually purchases. And then you can see we have other items, supplies, materials, capital dollars, and then some other dollars such as other small expenditures that the district needs to incur to run. This is a graph that shows the student enrollment over the last 10 years, and it also shows our local property tax levy over the last 10 years. And you can see that there's a related relationship, so they have both been increasing over the last 10 years, and we anticipate that they would continue to increase in future years. However, at the same time, in this slide, you'll see that our increase, although it's a 9.81% increase, our property tax base has actually grown by 7%. So our 2020 proposed property tax levy is a little over 79 million compared to 72 million from a year ago. And this change works out to be 9.81%, while the property tax base increased by 7%. So this actually helps to reduce the taxpayer impact on the individual taxpayer parcels of property. If you look at this is our total levy across all funds. And as I mentioned before, we have a number of different funds. The general fund, the community service fund, and the debt service fund are the funds that receive a portion of property taxes for their operations. You can see that the general fund, it represents the largest portion, and in there you see a 7.83% increase in the local property taxes. And once again, as I mentioned, it's largely revenue or formula driven based on enrollment or voter approved components or reimbursement components. Our community service fund grew by $352,000. Even though the percentage looks large, it basically, because it's such a small component of the total property tax levy, it's more accurate to look at the actual dollars of $300,000. This one is largely based on our population of the district, and the entire population in the district continues to grow, and so the revenues associated with the community service fund are based on the population of 0 to 5-year-olds in the district and the population as a whole, including 0 to adults. Our debt service fund basically represents the voter-approved principal and interest payments on debt that we are servicing. That would be the addition to the high school, the new elementary schools, etc. And once again, as I mentioned, with our property tax base growing so much, even though this increase would appear higher than most other school districts, it is largely softened. So the key messages that I'd like to share is that even though we've approved a 9.81% increase in our property tax levy, the property tax base grew by 7%. And included in this number are items that were approved by voters in November of 2017, where the voters approved to increase the operating referendum beginning in 2018. The voters approved $70 million in bond funding for district facilities, and the voters also approved a renewal of a technology levy beginning in 2018 as well. And once again, the board, actually being aware of the property tax impact on its taxpayers, intentionally reduced its long-term facility maintenance revenue by $3 million at that time. So the effect on taxpayers, the district's tax levy is spread to property owners based upon their taxable market value. So if you have your tax statement, you'll be able to look at your taxable market value, both for the 2020 property taxes and the 2019. Those numbers are kind of all over the board, so there really isn't a direct correlation between every individual taxpayer in the district. It's going to vary depending on what your property actually changed in its valuation. And those are kind of all over the place. We've seen Minnetonka and Plymouth actually have seen some pretty large increases in a number of their valuations of individual homes. And Corcoran and Medina have kind of stabilized at this point. So because we have so many communities in our school district, it's difficult to kind of just generalize. But if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those if they want to contact me. The last thing is the district's tax base increased by nearly $900 million in market value from the previous year. And it's increased more than 41%, from under $10 billion to almost $14 billion over the last 5 years. And we're anticipating that that would continue from everything that we know. So this is a chart of some taxpayer increases, and you can kind of see it's kind of all over the place. It's by municipality, and it also shows a number of homes where they may have seen an increase in their market value, they may have seen a decrease in their market value, or they may have seen a large increase. So changes from last year, the largest change in the property tax levy is from the general fund, voter approved referendum authority, and technology levy approved by voters in 2017. And the largest change in the debt service fund is from payments on principal and interest on the $70 million in voter approval authority. So at this point, as a part of the truth and taxation process, we invite the school board or the community to ask any questions. So at this point, I would open it up to any members in attendance who have any questions about the local property tax levy or the budget. And it would appear that that opportunity has been declined. So at this point, I will invite the board to make any comments, or we can close the hearing and move on to the next item.
Board colleagues?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, members of the community. The next item, I'm going to log back in here. So, of course, I get logged out. So, the next item is the approval of the Pay 2020 local property tax levy and levy limit and limitation to finance a portion of the 2020-21 school year. Sorry about this. Guess I spoke longer than I should have, huh? I got logged out, so. Just take a second. Are you bringing me? I should have done it this way, yes, okay. So the administration recommends certification of the 2019 payable 2020 property tax levy in the amount of $79,764,941.22. And we discussed what this amount represents and the change from the previous year. And just wanted to let you know that it is broken out by referendum market value, net tax capacity, and broken out by fund. So the totals are before you, and the recommended action is before you as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Westrom. Board colleagues, the recommended action is to approve the levy amount of $79,764,941.22 and to authorize the board clerk to sign the attached final 2019 payable 2020 levy for the Independent School District 284. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion? I think I would just like to add, Mr. Westrom, this is quite a lot of work to be done. I would like to thank our treasurer and our board finance committee for the work that they did to support you, but I would also like to thank you, Mr. Westrom, and the finance team for pulling this together and once again demonstrating to the board and to our community a sincere commitment to fiscal responsibility and really prudent use of taxpayer dollars.
Thank you.
Okay. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor of approving the recommended action regarding the levy amount, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Abstention, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That concludes the business and finance. We now have one item under board reports that I would like to share. Do any other board members have something under board reports? Okay, Mr. Brown.
This is my last official meeting. I know there are a lot of people out there watching, so I just wanted to say a few things. It's been an honor to represent the district the last 4 years. We moved here for the district, and I made it 4 years wearing blue and gold to all of our meetings, so in case no one noticed, I'm decked out. So. Full 4 years, so I'm very proud of that fact. A few thanks. I want to thank my board colleagues. They put in a lot of time and effort, and I don't think the community really notices that. Special thanks to all those that filled in for me when I couldn't during the days. And, that meant a lot, and I know that was not always easy to do, so thank you. To Dr. Anderson and administration, we're in great hands. There's not a whole lot that the board really does. You handle everything. We just sit up here and look great in blue and gold. So. Our teachers, a huge thank you to our teachers. Please pass that along. They're amazing. Again, they make the district what it is. I believe through and through that we're the best district in the state, and that's because of our teachers. Special thank you to my 3 fans out there that are up past their bedtime, so hopefully they'll leave here shortly. Tenley, thank you for all the great ideas to make the schools better. Don't stop those, because I'll share them with all my colleagues up here. Oliver, thanks for our discussions. You were great discussing board policy and how it would affect the elementaries. A lot of that was shared with the board members here and the administration. Heard many stories about what you had to say. And Liz, thanks for being my rock, taking the kids in all these 47 other nights that we had regular sessions and all the other times, and especially being there when I had to kind of go out on a limb and vote my conscience and be a little different than the rest of the members up here. So, and lastly, I want to give a heartfelt apology. 4 years ago, when I started the board, our test scores were very predictable by racial demographic, and 4 years later they still are, and that feels like I didn't do enough. So to those 1,500 plus students and their families, my apologies.
Thank you, Eric. And our board report is also to send a heartfelt thank you to you. Your commitment to this district was unwavering and clear in every moment, and your advocacy on behalf of students and families is both admirable and a really important part of our board and our community. So for all that you have done for our district and for our students, thank you. And on behalf of the board, I would like to present to you, careful this little gavel falls off, a plaque that recognizes your years of service.
Thank you.
Thank you. We need some woodshop students to help with a clip or something like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I would like to open it up to my board colleagues as well, if they would like. Dr. Cohen.
I'd like to comment. Well, Eric, I've certainly enjoyed getting to know you, and it seemed to me that often you made very astute comments, and even though you didn't talk a lot, plenty, when you did, it was really well worth listening to. So I appreciate all your comments and your thinking.
Well, I'd also like to say thank you for sharing yourself and your family with the board. I agree with what Linda said, that we listened when you spoke, because you give things a lot of thought and you have a different perspective than a lot of us, and so it was really beneficial to have your contribution. So I really appreciate it. I got to be your mentor. I hope I did an okay job. You didn't need a whole lot of guidance because you did a lot of research, and you really followed your heart. So I really appreciate your contribution. So thank you for your time and efforts and talents and sharing that with us.
Thank you for your service, Eric. I will miss working with you.
Yeah, I too would like to thank Eric for his dedicated service and all of the great work that you did in the last 4 years. I recall also that your work with us began prior to that on committees, which is a great way for future board members to become involved early in a niche that's of interest. And I believe you were involved in finance and maybe others that I've lost track of, but I know that you were on CFAC and real involved with that and had a good opportunity to learn a lot about the district that way. And I really enjoyed working with you in recent years on the Wayzata Education Fund, and thank you for your dedication and loyalty to that. We'll miss working with you. We wish you well, and we know that we'll run into you from time to time. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Eric, thanks for your friendship and your collegiality. It's been great working with you for 4 years. I particularly appreciate your financial acumen and your ability to work with Excel spreadsheets, which is a skill I do not have. So we're happy to return you back to, or not happy, but we're willing to return you back to your family and your day job and all the crazy Ironman triathlons that you continue to run. So best of luck in your new journey. Thanks.
Eric, I would say it almost leaves me very speechless with being able to work with you as closely as I have, and to say that you are my friend. I have enjoyed the relationship. I have enjoyed the challenges. I have enjoyed frustration points with you. It has really been amazing. So thank you for that. I will miss working with you very closely, but I'm super excited that I have gained a friend, wife of a friend, and children, so thank you so much for that.
Can I add one more thing? And I think Chris alluded to it, but it's not very often that one gets to sit next to somebody who does Ironman triathlon, so that was a great treat for me.
We know that your passion and your work is also related to students and school safety and other things as a portion of it. And so for all that you've done for our district and for all that you do for our community and for the great state of Minnesota, it's really been an honor to get to know you and to work with you. And thank you very much. And we wish you the best. And we hope to see you around in a number of things. Dr. Anderson didn't mention those referendums that you also worked very hard on. So, yes. Okay. Thanks so much. And thank you to Liz, to Oliver and Tenley as well for sharing your dad with us. He's a really smart guy, and we really appreciated having him sit alongside of us and help us to do our work for the students of Wayzata. So thanks so much. Okay, this would be a time for a second audience opportunity to address the board in case there is any, because we did move the agenda. I wanted to give that. And hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no.
No.
Abstentions? Oh, good. Well, keep your opposed, no. There we go. Good. Does that mean you'll stay? The Wayzata Public Schools Board of Education School Board for Monday, December 9th, 2019 is adjourned.